What's going on, boys and girls? It's Luke here once again. Sorry for the lack of posts on like Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and even tonight's going to be a really shitty video. Basically, apologies, but I literally forgot to take my phone to the gym tonight. Like, I don't know how I managed that. The one day that I really needed to record, to post something, I actually forgot my phone. So I'm just going to update you guys real quick. We're still following Jeff Cavaliere's workout thing. Today, because there's no videos, I'm going to sort of go over form. Now, I was saying in my previous videos I'm going to target things individually. I was planning on doing diet first and then going like following the list in order, but we'll talk about form. So we're going to talk about the form of the chest workouts. I think I might do this every day, like instead of showing off my workout, I might literally just talk about form and stuff. So we're going to go through each workout one by one. So to start with, we're going to start off with bench press. Now, because bench press is one of the simplest movements and it's really going to target like a lot of your chest, it stretches your fly and it's going to really target that sternocostal head, which, if you don't know, it's basically the big part of the major. So obviously you've got the split from here, clavicular head comes up here. So a good way to remember is this is your oh my god, I'm in Welsh. I'm a Welsh speaker, guys, so sorry if I get this wrong, but I think it's clavicle. I think it's called the clavicle. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fucking bad at English terms. And then obviously here you got your sternocostal, which connects to your sternum. Fuck, honestly, guys, I'm a Welsh speaker, so I'm not too good with the English terms. So one thing that you need to realise is how it sort of works. So I've spoken about this previously. If you think about the fibres in the sternocostal head, they sort of go across and sort of down and that sort of thing. So if you imagine when you come down on bench press and you go back up, you're sort of following the fibres. I mean, it's sort of hard to explain. You sort of expect the fibres to sort of come up, sort of like that, sort of like pins inside, but it isn't. So what's happening is when you come down, you're stretching it outwards. So your sternocostal head is coming outwards like this, and once you go back up, you're contracting inwards. So in simple terms, the better the stretch, and the more you're going to be coming back up and contracting that muscle. So that's basically that put into play. However, one thing that a lot of people do wrong is they go too far down, and this is where injuries come along. You'll see people come down, they'll be hitting their sternum, which is not a good idea, guys. Bruising it just for the sake of bruising. It's not any sort of long-term damage. It probably is, in all honesty, but it's just for the sake of bruising that sternum. But yeah, guys, so a good stretch is always good, but not too much. You can always fucking pull right here. I've seen people literally tear here, or what's the phrase people use? I think people say pop. I think the most popular word's pop. So yeah, they pop out their pec, and it's not a nice thing to see, guys. I've seen it happen on videos before. Okay, so next we're going to go into the concentric, isometric and eccentric movement. Now, this is quite a confusing one to get your head around, and it doesn't, for me tonight, it didn't actually work. Basically what it is it's a one-arm fly, and I kind of feel like you should start behind you and sort of go like that, but it's very hard to keep your stance and your form, your structure, if you're only using one arm. So it's not always very efficient because you have to use seriously heavy weight, but when it does work, I'm telling you guys, it works. So once again, you're pulling on your fly. Obviously this bit here is known as the fly. Once again, it connects to the sternocostal head, so when you're pulling across like this, once again you're targeting that sternocostal head. And then once again it's going to do exactly the same thing. However, it's just more of there's a bigger range of movement. It's good to have 2 or 3 workouts to target the same head, because once again there's adaptation in the muscles. It's going to adapt to these workouts, and this will help you gain shape on your pec. And obviously you've got the isometric, so you're holding it there, you're really struggling across that sternocostal head, and that is really going to take you to failure. And there comes the micro tears. Fuck me, English, man. So then comes the micro tears and your fibers, and this is what you really want. You really want those micro tears. They are so good. You get micro tears and everything, and they're always, it's what you go for. When you're working out, that's exactly what you need. It's basically, I'm sort of trying to torch you beginners. Okay, I'm trying to get things as simple as possible. So basically what happens is when you work out, you constantly tearing those fibers, which is good. It sounds very bad, but I don't think the proper term for it is tearing. Micro tears is a better word. So you're constantly micro tearing these fibers, and what happens is, you know, these sort of split up. It's sort of, if I put two hands together now, I can't really, but like they sort of open up like that. And what happens is, when they open up like that, the simple thing is, food fills that. You know, food will fill this. Okay, so yeah, and then food will fill that. You know, everything that you do from that point onwards is what's going to happen. Is going to fill it in. Now, let's just say that you didn't get much recovery time. It's going to go back down to how it was. For example, it won't, but that's basically how it is. If you get a decent amount of recovery time but not so much food, you know, you might go to here. You know, I'm talking about, this will be full now. This part of the muscle will be full. If you eat well and recover well, you know, you're going to do the whole lot. You know, that will then turn to muscle. Now, obviously, it's not that much of a gain in one workout, but if we go down to scale, that's exactly sort of how it would look like in simplest terms. Okay, so going on to the next workout now, we do cable flies. Now, this is once again the same head, sternocostal head. However, there's many variations, which I'll go into in a few seconds. So it's exactly the same as the last one. However, I just kind of feel as if this is very efficient. As I was saying a minute ago, the concentric, isometric and eccentric failure one is not really that efficient for me, so I definitely do cable flies. But guys, please don't worry if it is very effective for you, the first one. Don't worry about doing the cable flies, because it's just the same muscle and you can do too much, especially when you're working on 3 sets, you know, failing on sort of 10th rep sort of thing. So yeah, just stay away from doing 2 of each, because it's just not worth it. Next one I think we done standing incline flies. Now, if you don't want standing incline cable flies, sorry. Now, if you don't know what they are and the whole purpose of them, basically, once again, if you follow the fibers, it's always very good to understand the fibers, and you can sound so smart if you understand how the fibers work. Now, it's actually very simple to find out. You don't even need to look into the anatomy of it. All you actually need to do is tense the muscle, contract the muscle, and you can see which direction the fibers go, because it's the direction that the muscle tenses into. So what happens is, if you literally just do this movement, you can see, look, you can even see it under my jumper. Can you see this part of the muscle that's coming up? Now, this is called the clavicular head. Now, what happens is these fibers, they sort of come across. They start from here and they'll come across and they'll go up to your clavicle. That's where they connect to. So obviously, the way to target that would be to follow the direction of the fibers. And you know, it's the same with every other workout, but that's the workout that we do. It's not the only workout that we do, but it is a very efficient workout that we do to actually target this the clavicular head. Now, what a lot of people seem to think was this one movement targeted the abdominal head. In a certain way, there's a certain position you sort of angle your hands and it will target it, but it's just not that efficient. So obviously I'm going to talk about one that does target the abdominal head soon, and honestly guys, it's a very good workout. The first part of the cable fly, the one-arm cable fly, that sort of triggers it a little bit. Once again, it's not all that efficient, so we will sort of talk about that in a second. Okay, so the next one that we do is, let me just take a think. Okay, so the next one that we do is the one that does target the abdominal head. Very efficient. I honestly do love this one so much. It's hard to explain too. I sort of call it a cable crossover, but it isn't. It's really tough to explain, because you're literally getting the cable and you're crossing over. Now, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get from this point and you're trying to get your elbow to touch the other side of the pec. Now, what you'll notice is the abdomen head of the pec, the fibers. It's literally like, it's just such a small muscle, but this is what's going to get you that bump over, you know, that sort of nice little over bump. It sort of goes from here and it'll go to about here, and it'll link into this sort of part. It's a tough one. A lot of people do not know about it, and I try to emphasize it in all of my videos. It's a very important muscle. Now, obviously, the fibers are going around this way, so if you're pulling across like this, and you're sort of not exactly lifting upwards, but sort of pushing, so you're following those fibers. Now, that's really what's going to target those muscle fibers in the abdomen head. And honestly guys, it's a hard one to trigger. You've got to get the form perfect on it. If you need any advice on how to get your form perfect, I wouldn't exactly take it off me. I mean, my form's good, but once again, it's a new workout to me, and I don't know, I just kind of feel like I'm not that onto it. So if you need to see the form, just check out Jeff Cavaliere's video. He'll, you know, his form is perfect. He practically made that workout. Okay, so next, once again, we have one that targets 2 heads. Now, it's not supposed to target 2 heads. I've just sort of, when I've done it, I've sort of thought, oh my god, this does more than just what it's supposed to do. Now, what it is, it's called the Dumbbell, I think it's called the Cavaliere Crossover. He called it the Cavaliere Crossover. He made it himself once again, and his audience called it the Cavaliere Crossover. So what you do is you grab the dumbbell and you just sort of just do this movement, and you really contract that pec muscle, and you honestly, guys, you can feel it so good. It was supposed to only target the clavicular head, but for me it also targeted the abdomen head. I'm not too sure how. I'm sort of trying to think of the anatomy side of it, but it's kind of tough, because when you're coming across like this, you're only really pushing from your fly, and that sort of suggests that, you know, it's tough to explain. But for me, it did target that head. I'm gonna say though, my pecs are a weird shape. I've always sort of considered that, because I was working out with some guys today, and they were saying that they didn't feel it where I felt it, and you know, we sort of looked at it, and my pecs they're a different shape to everyone else's. They're more like, they seem to be really contracted around here, and then they just sort of bump up, whereas everyone else's, they're just sort of, they're rounded all the way. It's tough to explain, guys. But that's my sort of theory behind it. Maybe that's why I feel it more. And then last but not least, we have the finisher. Now, I absolutely love the finisher, guys. I find it amazing. It targets a lot of the heads. In fact, I think it targets all of them. Yeah, it does. It targets all the heads. So obviously what you do is you go on the incline bench, and you want to push out some of those, you know, sort of heavyish weights. You want to sort of failure on your 12th rep maybe. You just want to push them out, get 12 reps. As soon as you've done that, as soon as you've failed on your 12th rep, maybe 10th, just sort of fail in that sort of area, you're going to hop straight over onto the sort of pec dips. What do people call them? Tricep dips. Tricep pec dips. That's what we're going to call it. That's a new word for it. Okay, so tricep pec dips, and you're literally just going to hang so that you can feel your fly pulling. Not a hurtful pulling, but like you can feel it. It's being worked. Like, that's exactly what you want to feel. And then you want to hold that for 30 seconds, or hold it till failure. That's aim for 30. If you can't hit 30, just go to failure. I hit 30. Might start going for a bit longer, because it wasn't exactly easy, but I felt like I could do a few more seconds. So, and then as soon as you've done that, you want to go over to a cable crossover that is very wide. You don't want one that's like here and here. You want it to be very wide, because you need a good sort of, you don't want it to be vertical, because it's going to fuck up the movement. You want it to be very wide out, so then you can sort of, you can follow the movement. So like, if I was to have the cable right here and I was grabbing it like this, it's going to go sort of like that. I'm going to have to do that. However, if it was all the way out here, I could quite easily just go like that without having to worry about any sort of, without having to worry about the machine affecting the movement. So that's my biggest advice. And then once again, do that on an ideal weight, and you want to do it to failure. After that, guys, you don't want to leave the gym just yet. You need to do a few warm down sets. I'd advise doing warm down sets on a bench. Maybe do 25-30% of your max, and just push out as many reps as possible, so to failure, and then give yourself maybe a minute and a half break, and then just do the same weight again, but maybe push out half the reps that you've done to failure, and it's going to get a lot of blood flowing. You know, it's going to keep your heart rate at sort of good rate. The blood's still going to be flowing, and this is just a very good way to stop you know, your muscles aching the next day, because you're constantly letting that blood flow and you're warming down the proper way. I can't emphasize how important that is, guys. If you don't warm down the proper way, it's all part of recovery, guys. If you don't warm down, you're not recovering properly, and it's going to affect your gains. So honestly, guys, bear that in mind. Anyway, so I do apologise once again for not having the video footage, and I didn't on Thursday for leg day either, and I really do apologise for that. However, videos will be back to normal once again. Sorry that I was speaking for so long. It's going to be a very boring video for you guys, especially the girls that watch my channel. So unless you're into it, I'm not saying that all girls aren't into it, but I know for a fact that most of them aren't because I speak to most of them. So yeah guys, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be with you probably again tomorrow. We're going to be doing our back workout. And then another thing that we're going to do next week, we're not doing our chest on Monday, we're going to change that onto a Tuesday because obviously it's National Chest Day on Monday. It's just so busy in the gym, and in our gym there's just not enough equipment. So we're going to move that over to a Tuesday and move back onto Monday. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, I apologise for not having the workout footage. Back to normal tomorrow. Yeah, anyway guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.